Hey guys! So today I really want to do this challenge to read a book 40 minutes straight without touching any electrical devices, including like my smartphones, computers, and so on. Well, especially my smartphones, like social medias and apps and everything's in my smartphone. No, I really want to do it today because lately I have been really frustrated about my short attention span. I try to read a book and then I open it, and then after 5 minutes into it, I just felt irritated, and then I just my hands just can't help to go reach out my smartphone and then just start using it. So I was constantly switching back and forth between my book and also my smartphone, which is no, I want to focus on reading a book. I consciously, I know that I want to focus on my book and I don't want to touch my smartphone, but it's just that I couldn't help. It's an addiction. We all know that. So many people nowadays are addicted to their smartphone, including me. And, I just can't help but start reaching out my phones. And it's just I was so shocked about how serious my symptom is. When I was a kid, I remember I had no problem reading a book straight for 1 hour, 2 hours, or even 3 hours without even wanting to, touch my smartphones, my computers, or other electrical devices. Really, just I could totally do that easily. But I was since when did my attention span become this short and my ability to concentrate and to focus becomes this bad? Gosh, and I'm not happy about it. So that's why today I'm inviting you to join me to read a book, any book you want, together for 40 minutes and see if we can resist our temptations of touching our electrical devices. So to get myself into this reading atmosphere, I set up a comfortable corner to read a book, and then I even prepare myself a cup of water, very healthy. And also prepare myself a notebook because sometimes I like to write down things that I find inspiring, useful, and things like that. Just write down, and when I'm go through my notebook, I could always remind myself those inspiring things that I discovered in the book. So that's all I got here today. But anyway, let's get ourselves started. Start! What I'm going to do right now is I'm gonna read out some paragraphs. Sometimes when I find myself couldn't really focus on reading a book, just my mind just keep flying away to all the other places, thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch, what I'm gonna cook later, or what I'm gonna do tomorrow, and things like that. When I find myself in that situation, I just start to read out loud paragraphs in the book, and in that way it really helps me to pull my attention back to the book and keep myself focused. That's what I'm gonna do right now. In an age obsessed with speed, slowing down requires special training. After art critic Peter Clothier discovered meditation, he realized how little he was actually looking at art. I would often catch myself spending more time with the wall label in the museum than with the painting I was supposed to be looking at. Painting I was supposed to be looking at, inspired by the slow food and slow cooking movement. He started leading 1 hour, one painting sessions in galleries and museums, in which he invited participants to gaze at a single artwork for 1 full hour. Slow looking caught on, and now several museums across the country hold slow looking events. The ethos is summed up on the Slow Art Day website. When people look slowly, they make discoveries. Slow looking is great, but I always need to be doing something with my hands. So drawing is my favorite tool for forcing myself to slow down and really look at life. Humans have drawn for thousands of years. It's an ancient practice that can be done with cheap tools available to everyone. You don't have to be an artist to draw. You just need an eye or two. Drawing is simply another way of seeing, which we don't really do as adults, says cartoonist Chris Ware. We are all going around in a cloud of remembrance and anxiety, he says, and the act of drawing helps us live in the moment and concentrate on what's really in front of us. Because drawing is really an exercise in seeing. You can stop at drawing and still get on top of it. In a blog post like it's crazy. So I have a clock beside me, and it's literally like 7 minutes into me reading, and I already started to have this temptation of like wanting to touch my smartphone, want to go get my smartphone, and just like I'm like craving for the dopamine that all the social medias and things provided me. My rice is cooked. Anyway, not related. So look at that. Look at my extremely short attention span. I couldn't even hold it for like 10 minutes. But I mean, I'm on my way. I'm on my way, and I'm gonna keep reading. What you pay attention to, that's pretty much all the info you need. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess, which is why everyone wants to sit still from you. First, you must protect it, and then you must point it in the right direction. Oh, it's so interesting, like now I'm doing this challenge of trying to regain my attention, and then try to regain the control of my own attention and my focus, the ability to focus and to concentrate. And then like the books that I'm reading right now, actually, like I'm in the page that they actually talk about the similar things, basically the same thing. I read it to you. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess, which is why everyone wants to steal it from you. First, you must protect it, and then you must point it in the right direction. Isn't it just talking about what I'm trying to do right now? All these social medias and all those like developers of those apps, of those things, on the internet, they're trying to steal away my attention, my valuable attention. So now I'm gonna take it back. I'm not gonna let them to steal it. No. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. Careful where you point at. As they say, movies. Careful where you point that thing. What you choose to pay attention to is the stuff you're like and what you're being made of. My experience, what I agree to attend to. Psychologists really John 14, 18, all those items which I notice shape my mind. We pay attention to the things we really care about, but sometimes what we really care about is hidden from us. I keep a daily diary for many reasons, but the main one is that it helps me pay attention to my life. By sitting down every morning and writing about my life, I pay attention to it. Over time, I have a record of what I have paid attention to. Many diarists don't bother rereading their diaries, but I found that reading doubles the power of a diary because I've been able to discover my own patterns, identify what I really care about, and make myself better. If I begin this week with more attention, life is made up of paying attention to what we pay attention to. Set a regular time to pay attention to what you have paid attention to. like another thing that I like about reading a book is that you can take it so slowly and just like in your own pace. And sometimes when you read like a sentence, a paragraph, and you find interesting, inspiring, and you can pause and just think about it for like a moment or for like 5 minutes even. And that's what social media nowadays cannot do for you, because it's so just like there are so many informations on social medias, and all the feeds, and then all the pictures and short videos and reels and so on. It's just like you don't even have time to pause and think about what you just saw, right? And then you just like keep going to the next information, the next piece of information, right? And it's just, in the end, you spend, let's say, 15 minutes or even 30 minutes on social media, and you couldn't recall what you just saw. Isn't that kind of sad? At least for me, it's really sad. I don't even know what I did for the last 30 minutes, and I couldn't remember literally a thing of what I just seen on my social media. And I really don't like it. And also, like, another thing is, this might motivate you to start reading books instead of using your smartphones. Like, sometimes, don't you feel like, at least that's what I felt? Like, reading books make you feel sexy and cool. Don't you think so? Like, every time, like, when at the cafe or like on the public transportation, when I saw someone, just like reading a book instead of using smartphones, I was like, wow, I pay my respect. Sometimes, true, my mom always laughed about me when I wanna look cool. I always bring my book and then intentionally read it in public. So yes, it does has its aspect of being like pretentious, but as long as you're actually reading the book, really it doesn't matter. And I think it's great that you can find a motivation to read more books, right? If your motivation, at least one of my motivations and incentives of reading a book is like, I want to look cool. So like, of course, sometimes I read at home, but I also sometimes read at public places. And I feel like as long as you can motivate yourself to read more books, why not? No matter who cares what the intention behind that, right? As long as you are not really just like faking like yourself in reading a book without even consume any knowledge out of it, then it's okay. As long as you're actively consuming knowledge, even if your intention in the beginning is to want to look cool in front of the public, then just go do it.
If people read your work and as a result choose life, then you are doing your job. Quite simply, art is supposed to make our lives better. It's true for the making of the art as it is for the art itself. Making your art is ruining anyone's life, including your own. It is not worth There's always going to be a temptation for people who are suffering to believe that to become an artist would be the solution. But in fact, it would be part of the problem. Since writer and psychologist Adam believes there are a number of people we might think of as casualties of the myth of artists that really should have done something else. You might not be meant to be an artist. You might be meant to teach kids math or raise children or start a company that makes cereal bites. Comedian Mike.
certainly is the very thing that art thrives on. The writer Don. It's one of not known. When he was not working, he knew something, but when he was making evaluations, I don't know where they were going to go. I thought I was wrong about everything. I was wrong about that too. He was not working, he knew something, but when he's working, it's feel like he doesn't know anything. This has been my childhood. I sit at my desk and I don't know what to do. But Dawn knew me smart enough to know how dumb I am and give me the courage to carry on anyway. We start each work not knowing exactly where we're going or where it will end. Art is the highest form of hope. But hope is not about knowing how things will turn out. It is moving forward in the face of uncertainty. It's a moment of meaningful uncertainty. You must acknowledge that you don't know everything and you don't know what's going to happen. That's the only way to keep going and the only way to keep making art. The possibility allows yourself to be changed. Of course, to change your mind is to do some real thinking. Thinking requires an environment in which you can try out all sorts of ideas and not be judged for them. The internet, unfortunately, is no longer safest to any kind of experimental thinking, particularly for somebody with an audience or a brand. As if we're all cattle, it's no, if you're going to change your mind, you might have to go offline. Offline is the place to be offline to. And offline sometimes like you are at a police station, you see a paper journal, a private chat room, that you're doing for trust loved one, things are places you're like like-minded places like art. Whoever meets you at the party starting new conversations saying I don't know and think for yourself goes the cliche, but the truth is we can't really other people to help us think. To think independently of other human beings is impossible. That is Alma Jacobs. Thinking is necessarily, thoroughly, and wonderfully social. Everything you think is in response to what someone else has thought and said. Congratulations! We are 30 minutes into our reading session without touching any electrical devices. We have 10 minutes left. Actually, I think after successfully resisted my first temptation of wanting to touch my phones, I think I'm pretty okay. I think. And also, I think it helps a lot. Like, actually, I find myself just like basically read out loud a lot of things in it. Like, I skipped some of the sentences, but I did read out loud most of the sentences, especially those sentences that I couldn't really understand, and those sentences that I find especially good and inspiring. I would read out those kind of sentences. And also in other situations is that when I just kind of like my mind starting like flying away and then think about other unrelated things, I also speak out loud, read out loud. So in those three situations, which is when I couldn't understand a sentence, or when I find a sentence that I especially like or find it inspiring, or when I find myself couldn't really concentrate on the text, in those three situations, I read out loud. And I think it's pretty useful because yes, it really helps me to concentrate without thinking about wanting to touch my phones, wanting to do other things, wanting to think about what I'm gonna do later, and so on, so on. Nice. For example, to think independently of other human beings is impossible. Thinking is necessarily the only one of the solution. And I also think that nowadays, like, I think we have been so used to consume like a bunch of informations in a very short time span. For example, when we're scrolling through social medias, in 5 minutes, you can totally watch like 10 to 15 short videos and posts and things like that. So it's like a bunch of informations and we are used to that. But and then I find that because of that tendency and that habit, when I'm reading a book, I couldn't really bear it to be that slow. So I would constantly want to check how many pages do I still have to read before I finish the whole book. Like I found myself started to gradually become someone who kind of couldn't slow down anymore and value efficiency way too much to an extreme that is not good. And then I think reading a book really train you to slow down and try to think, like it's just, you gotta think sometime, right? You couldn't just consume knowledge in a very speedy way, then it's unlikely you are gonna get any information or knowledge into your head. It's just kind of difficult to do that, to stick into your head. So I think what I found, like reading today is that when I slow down, and even if I especially when I read out loud, it really helps me to slow down and then try to think more about what I just read and to reflect on it. And I think it's a really, really important and good skill that I want to develop. Yes. Just to slow down. Only interacting like with people all the time, there's less and less opportunity to be changed. Everybody knows that feeling you get when you're hanging out with love the same art, listen to the same music, and watch the same movies. at this sentence. Let me read it again. Every age has its own outlook. It is especially good at seeing certain truths and especially liable to make certain mistakes. We all therefore need the books that will correct the characteristics, mistakes of our own period. And that means the old books, to be sure. The books of the future will be just as good a corrective as the books of the past, but unfortunately we cannot get them. Most everybody alive is so obsessed with what's new that they all think about the same things. If you're having trouble finding people to think with, seek out the dead. They have a lot to say and there are excellent listeners. Read old books. Human beings have been around for a long time and almost every problem we have has probably been written about by some other human living. Hundreds if not thousands of years before you, the Roman statesmen and philosophers and God said that if you read old books, you get to add all the years the other lived onto your own life. We're excluded from no age. We have access to them all. He said, why not turn from this belief in transient scale of time and give ourselves wholeheartedly to the past, which is limitless and eternal and can be shared with better men than we. It's amazing how the human life changes without marvel at how every ancient poem is basically withering commentary on our contemporary politicians. If you can come up with your own idea, identify a popular idea that you despise and would like to destroy. Find an old opposite idea that everyone's forgotten and resurrect it. Deep into Henry Davis' instruments, portrait of a pen-loving man who is overeducated, underemployed, upset about politics, and living with his parents. He sounds exactly the one you find valuable in novels. We have such short memories, you don't have to go that far back into the past to discover things we have already been talking about. Cracking a book that's only a quarter of
做了一个混蛋，
哎，我还在录哎，
那你留着来录一下啊。
我还在。So it turns out that in the end, I wasn't interrupted
帮你创
by.
造，我来帮你创造幕后
Shut
花
up!
絮。
I wasn't interrupted by my phones or my temptations of reaching out the phones. I was disrupted and interrupted by my brother. Shut up! He is destroying my peaceful reading moment.
Not peaceful at all.
Oh, shut up. A dip into Henry David. Yeah. Okay, so 40 minutes is up. I finished reading without touching my smartphones or my computer. So thanks for hanging out with me today. If you actually came this far all the way, this video is gonna be such a long one. Yeah, it's a very long video. But anyway, thank you so much and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!